Hello, everyone. It's Kirk from The Next Level Now. I occasionally like to learn about different ways to step into being a better me, and I turn to outside sources. I do a lot of reading, and I have some material that I'm streaming online just to keep up with what other people are thinking in that line of self development, personal development. And it's one of those good habits that we all should have, which is feeding the brain good stuff, good material. We should be doing that with our bodies, trying to remain healthy, trying to eat the right foods, and not living on potato chips and junk food. As nice as that stuff is, and as much as I love it, we need to be doing things that help spur good health. We need to be doing things for our brains that spur good thoughts and help us become better people. And I became acquainted with a fellow by the name of Damon West. And I was watching him do a speech on TV the other day. Interesting character. He appears to be a young guy. I have no idea how old he is. But he looks younger than me, which I guess isn't hard either. Was telling his story. And his story was that he had been arrested for doing mob related things, I guess, and was on his way to serve in a maximum security prison. And he was waiting in the local lockup to be transported to this prison. And he meets a fella named Mohammed. And Mohammed was kind of breaking it down for him as to how life was going to be when he got to this maximum security prison. This fellow was, I'm going to guess and say probably in his late 30s, a white Anglo-Saxon guy, and he's headed to a maximum security prison. He's going to run into some issues. So Mohammed was telling him, look, when you get there, you are going to find that everything in that prison runs by people who are in different groups. There's going to be the white supremacists. There's going to be the Black Panther styled groups. There's going to be the people who are gender confused, whatever it is. All of these different groups. And that's where these people keep their identity. And he said, when you get to this prison, everyone's going to have a whack at you. They're going to try to force their identity on you. They're going to beat on you. They're going to thump you. And he said, what's going to happen is you're going to have to decide what you're going to do. And the way he described to Damon what he needed to do was said, look, you need to be a coffee bean. And the guy looks at me, what do you mean a coffee bean? And Muhammad said, look, if I had a pot of water and I threw a carrot in the water and I threw an egg in the water and I threw a coffee bean in the water, what would happen? Well, if it's in there long enough, boiling enough, the carrot becomes mushy. Don't become mushy. He said, or the egg becomes hard. And if you become hard, you're resistant to anything else and everything else that goes around you. You're very closed-minded. And he says, don't be like that. He says, be like the coffee bean. Because the coffee bean doesn't change. It changes the environment. It changes the water into coffee. Now, this really helped Damon, and he goes on to explain his trials and tribulations as he went through prison, taking the thumps, taking the bumps, and what he did to establish himself as a coffee bean. He was the person who was going to change the environment within this maximum security prison, and he found that that worked to get him acceptance, left alone, but acceptance by all of these different groups. And he went on to do things like he had an education, so he was helping these inmates learn to read and learn to do things so that they could become better people on the other side. He wasn't being a carrot, he wasn't being an egg, he was being a coffee bean. Now the story goes on that he got released because of his good behavior, got released a little bit early, and he knew some people who knew other people who would be interested in his story, and those other people were various college football coaches. And they invited him to go to this meeting of all these great football coaches, and he met all of them, and of course they all turned him down as far as wanting to hear from him, except the one coach who had just won the national title with his team the year before. And he called this Damon West back a few months later and says, "Hey, I like your story. Would you come in and repeat it for my players?" And he went on to do this, and that opened a bunch of doors, and he started doing this to different college teams all across the country. Pretty soon, this guy, who was a former felon, has become a motivational, inspirational speaker that is making tons of money. He went on and tried to find Muhammad, just like in the Shawshank Redemption. He was looking for the guy that helped him through, and learned that Muhammad had unfortunately died of a heroin overdose. And this Damon found his family, his sister and his mother, and said, "Look, I owe my life to Muhammad," meaning their Muhammad, not Allah. And he said, "I'm going to give a charitable donation every year. You people figure out who you want this to go to, and I'm going to give $10,000 a year to their further education to help them become better people." Muhammad had saved his life, and he was doing his best to save other people's lives in remembrance of Muhammad. If you get a chance, the book, and I realize it's backward, it's called How to Be a Coffee Bean. It's a very easy read. One side has a picture, and the other side has a small kind of verse for that goes with that picture. And he gives a lot of tremendous advice, different little things that you can employ right away that are going to make you step into being a better person. So, I challenge you to go and learn what it is to be a coffee bean. Make change around you. Be the person who brings change. As my good friend Cheryl had said, be a joy generator. You're going to love it. So, and again, a reminder, this coming Saturday, we are going to be having our mini course on achievement acceleration. Please DM me your name and your email address, or give it to me at my email, bacdoc.kw@gmail.com, and I'll be able to send you that link so you can join this live mini course virtually with us. That's bacdoc.kw@gmail.com. Please go to the Next Level Now YouTube channel, see these videos. Please check out Tamika Thomas's Facebook page. Check out her stuff. Some great things going on. Big news coming. I'm just dropping the hints. All right. Thanks. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.